And we're live, and it's another LUKE-N-SHAE'S podcast. And tonight we got the Red Heart Letter.
Hello, and we're back. Welcome to LUKE-N-SHAE'S place. Thank you so much for stopping by. We have a panel laid out for you tonight for our Red Heart Letters. It's been a while, but we're back with the Red Heart Letter. Every now and again, we'll get a letter, or we'll even have a video to discuss from one of our viewers, or just a nice discussion, just a nice panel discussion. So looking forward for that tonight. But before we begin, if you haven't already and you like the content that Luke and I share, please go ahead and click that like button. Also, comment. We love your comments, love your feedback. We'll reply. And also share. Why not? Help us grow our platform by sharing our content. And the biggest thing is to subscribe. It's 100% free. And click that notification bell so that you get notified when we're posting and when we're going live. Hey everyone, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Hey,
nice to see you, Sharonda. Luke, how are you?
I'm blessed and doing well. Can we get Blanca in here?
Yes,
What'd you say?
Scared.
You scared?
Oh.
You ain't scared, are you? Okay, well, we have a video we're going to show tonight. We got another banger show tonight. We got our four guests, Sharonda down here at the bottom, and we got Blanca, who haven't turned her camera on, and Blanca, that's Shay, and you know Sharonda. So.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Sharonda, nice seeing you.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I introduced everybody. So we're going to get started with the show without any further ado. It's a video. I just want to know what y'all think. And if you out there, you want to comment, so, definitely comment. Let us know what you think.
Keisha came back from Jamaica like someone who left more than just luggage behind. Her skin glowed like warm honey, her braids were fresh and tight, and she carried this easy kind of joy that didn't ask for permission. She laughed louder, played her music louder. Her hips moved like they still had that island rhythm in them. Even her walk changed. Looser, lighter, like something had been unlocked. DeMario Cole noticed. He noticed everything. Not because he was insecure, but because he knew her habits, her moods, the way she bit her lip when she was lying. And now, that same woman who used to fall asleep mid-Netflix was wide awake at night, texting with a little grin on her face and her phone screen tilted just enough out of his line of sight. "Just me and Tanya laughing," she said one night when he asked. He nodded, said nothing. But inside, his gut started whispering. Tanya Reid had been Keisha's ride or die since nursing school. Loud, loyal, and always 2 sips ahead of too much wine. DeMario never really had an issue with her until that night. Keisha was in the living room, glass of Moscato in one hand, phone on speaker, giggling like a teenager. DeMario was in the hallway, just out of sight, tightening a loose screw on the thermostat. That's when he heard it. Girl.
Do you want your videos to look like this? Well, in just 14 days, we've taught all these people how to do it. Our
Like we're gonna have a long night with this, what you call it? It is.
Our program 14-day film.
Girl, Tanya laughed. I still can't believe your knees gave out like that after the second massage. That man had you speaking in tongues. Keisha snorted. Please don't remind me. I almost had to crawl back to the resort. I thought I needed physical therapy. They both howled with laughter. DeMario froze, screwdriver in hand. The words echoed in his chest like a slow drum beat. Massage? Second? Knees? He felt it, not in his head, but in the pit of his stomach. That old unshakable feeling that something was happening behind your back while you were out here trying to hold things together. He walked back into the kitchen like he hadn't heard a thing, kissed her on the cheek. She smiled at him like nothing in the world was wrong. But something was, and deep down, he knew. Whatever it was, it had already started. He just hadn't caught up to it yet. If you're watching this right now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more true stories coming that'll leave your jaw on the floor. And hey, drop your location in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's see where the true crime family is tuning in tonight. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it sits in the back of your mind, quiet as dust, waiting for a reason to move again. DeMario Cole remembered the first Jamaica trip clear as day. That was a year ago. Keisha had gone with a different set of friends back then, some nurses she used to work with. It was a self-care getaway, she called it. A weekend to unwind, drink rum by the ocean, and hit the spa. He didn't question it. At that time, they were in a good place. Bills paid, the girls doing well in school, Sunday dinners at her mama's house. He kissed her goodbye at the airport, told her to have fun, and picked her up 4 days later with flowers and a smile. She came back tanned and tired, but happy. Said the trip was amazing. Talked about the food, the beach, the music, everything but the people. That part stood out now. In hindsight, it stood out a lot. 2 weeks later, DeMario started feeling off. It started with a weird itch, then a burning sensation that had him wincing in the bathroom. He knew what it was. Didn't take long for the doctor to confirm it. Chlamydia. It was minor, sure. 1 round of antibiotics and he was cleared up. But the real infection wasn't in his body. It was in his mind. He brought it up to Keisha, awkward, quiet, almost embarrassed. She stared at him like he was speaking a language she didn't know. What? Me? No, that had to be something else.
Wow.
She swore up and down she hadn't been with anyone else. Said it might have come from a public toilet or some kind of mix-up at the clinic. You know those doctors ain't always careful, she said, brushing it off like lint on a jacket. DeMario wanted to believe her. He needed to believe her. He'd made his share of mistakes back when they first got together. Hadn't always been a perfect man. Maybe this was karma catching up to him. So he let it go. At least that's what he told himself. But now, after hearing that phone call, after seeing her laughing like that, after hearing the words, second massage, the memory came rushing back like heat through
talk
old
about
wounds.
that little bit right now.
What if she was lying then?
Because you can't let it.
What if the STD wasn't random, but a receipt? DeMario sat in his car that night, parked outside their house, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to pause it in between so it's not paying straight through for copyright infringement.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to play it straight through, but go. I was trying to get a good part of it over, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for that little bit that we heard so far, we can talk about that for now because that was a lot just in that little bit that we heard. Those 9 minutes.
What y'all think so far? No comments, y'all. All quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's a lot so far. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the man contracted chlamydia out of this whole thing, and I'm more interested in how we're going to get around this, or what she could possibly say with this right here. But that's going to be interesting because we're given sexually transmitted diseases and things of that nature. That's going to be interesting. But no, I just think, like I said, it sounds like and I don't know, it paints a bad light on girl trips. It does, it really does, because if you know, and then the way they say he knew her, like he knew the way she walked, he knew how she bit her lip when she was lying and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, it all makes for interesting conversation, but it all
Yes, because she came home acting different. So, like, at bedtime or when they're watching Netflix, he said she normally falls asleep. Now she's on her phone giggling, staying up, kind of. Your habits change. Your mate knows you. If anybody knows you, your mate should know you. They see you every day. So you're coming home from this trip acting different, and I don't know. Yeah, acting different and bringing home something different. You left a certain way, and you're coming home with this chlamydia. So yeah, that's interesting right there. And you don't get that from just getting a massage, from what they were talking about a massage.
sometimes you get chlamydia from massages. It's possible.
I I don't know what kind of massages you getting, but
Yeah, she said the doctors could have gave it to him. The toilet seat. There was a lot in there that you could have got it from. So I'm sure you could get it from a massage. If you can get it from a toilet seat and all that. So
Well,
So it's clear we have a deceiver on our hands. She's a liar. Okay, let's just be very clear.
oh,
It was a self-care.
you could have went fibbing on that one.
What?
Could have went fibbing. You want to put her into the straight liar category.
Well, yeah.
Fibbing.
Because if
Just
it
a
was
little.
self-care, she would have been okay to discuss everything, food, music, and the people she met. And when she contracted, well, when the young man contracted chlamydia, and she's like, the doctors aren't always careful. What I hated, but what should have happened is he should have said, well, do you just mind getting tested anyway? You know what I
yeah,
mean? That way it would have been no question. And if she would have denied it, we could have nipped that part in the bud. Because if I came home and my partner had chlamydia, let's just be honest, we'll hold the whole sex part to the side for a second. But if that was to happen and he had chlamydia, I'm going to be wondering what he did when I'm gone. Because
yes,
you know what I'm saying? So
yes,
I'll be like, yeah, let me show you that I don't have it. So this needs to be on you. So I think we have a liar on our hands. My biggest question is, why is she in the relationship? Like, why is she there if she needs getaways to get her groove back? Why is she not getting back with him?
well, I see it a little bit different,
Okay.
and maybe because some of this stuff happened to me. But um, it you if this is a thing that she does all the time, and we don't have those details, right? We don't have those details whether she does this normally, anything like that. We just know that at this one point in time, she went on a girls' trip, and this is the information that we know, right? Um, so she comes back and she's acting different. Of course, somebody that's going to know you, if you have a history with that person, they're going to know, and they're going to start questioning, or at least noticing, potentially asking questions, right? And they're all going to be dismissed because no, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing different, or anything like that. Now, with the test results, right, that confirm that something happened on that trip based on those test results, right? So now that brings even more questions. Okay, so what really happened? It wasn't just a massage, right? So that's that's what that's what I gather from that information. So
Y'all still don't think y'all can get chlamydia from a massage, I see.
No.
Hell
And
no.
no. And it sounds like this is something she does. She does because he mentioned the first girl's trip. It was with a different set of friends, and then she went on. So it sounds like she does the girl trip thing. I don't know if it's once a year or whatever the case might be, but it sounds like that is something she does more than one time. She has done that often. Sounds like maybe she's going with different groups of friends, and because they mentioned it was a different set of friends the first time. So
But you don't think it sheds a bad light on girl trips, though?
I don't.
If you,
no, because everybody. I don't think something to each its own. But I mean, girls trips. I've been on them, and I've never. I've probably been on a couple, and most of them was retreats for church. Or one time, I
Right.
went with my two friends. We went and got like a house in Lancaster, PA, and we kind of just had a nice little. It wasn't even like it was great. Nobody who's doing this. I don't
Yeah.
know. You're planning this. It's like she has intentions to go on a trip to do that, to be a deceiver. That's what it sounds like to me.
but it
It
still
doesn't
shines.
light on her. It doesn't shed a bad light on girls' trips. She's the one who's coming back
See,
and
I
has
think,
to deal with her boyfriend, seeing her in a different light. It that's it. She could do this anytime because that's a
but that,
character.
but see, from a man sitting here, yeah, it does shine a bad light on girl trips because you can't really trust it. You can't really trust that
No,
because
But like
I don't
yeah.
think I don't think this is something that can be generalized because I've also been on girls' trips, just like you ladies, and it's been nothing but just pure innocent fun. I don't drink, so there wasn't even drinking. It was just pure fun. It was nothing where you're putting yourself in those situations. Um, if this was something where um, in the video where he was in a situation and she opened that door, that's a whole different story, you know. Um, but I don't think you can generalize that all girls
so,
trips turn into
so
that.
if we was to reverse this whole thing and make it all men that were
Mhm.
doing this, and the man was
Mhm.
cheating, and you as women, how would y'all feel about the man trip? Then?
The same
See, I'm the
way.
only
I
man.
Yeah,
feel
He's
the
a
same exact
deceiver.
way. I would
He's a
look at the guy.
deceiver.
Hmm.
You look at the
yeah,
guy.
I
But that's
would.
specific to that person. That I can't say all men are doing that when they go on a trip.
We didn't.
It's that person. And
We didn't say all
something
men,
when
but
somebody's like that, I can't even say like Sharonda said. I have to believe that you're like that all the time, not just when you go on a trip. It's
yeah.
just when you're home, I might not know that. It's
but
just the trip is when you really show out.
the thing here is, I don't. We don't heard too many happy endings, and they strictly come from. And it's not just her. We don't heard many happy endings on many trips with women. So yeah, from in the overall, not just this particular episode, but I've heard that on several trips and heard that on several occasions.
Mhm.
So again, it does shine a negative light because nobody, all your friends, nobody gonna come back and tell what goes on the girl trip. So, and this is what happened here. Because the first
Nobody
place
might tell, but
I
that
said anything.
STI that's going to tell when you start getting
Well,
you
okay,
coming
so she
home
didn't get that.
with
She
that's
didn't get
going to
that.
tell what's
She
done in the
didn't get
dark is
that.
going to come to the light some
If
shape or
she
form.
didn't get that, how would he know? See, it would have
I
went understood. See, I,
I
I
don't
look at
know.
I look at that as an act of God, but at the same time, like I said, if she didn't catch it, he would never know, and ain't
My
nobody gonna tell him.
Let me just say this. It's about who you choose. Because if we put this on the girls' trip, it's kind of like people putting marriage, the institution, as something wrong. Marriage is two people. So if two people make decisions that are wrong, it's the people. It's not marriage that's wrong. She did something bad on a trip. It's not the trip. It's not Jamaica. It's not the
Oh
Caribbean.
no, we didn't
It
bring
is
him to
she did
Caribbean.
it. So we need to think about who we trust because I'm assuming that I would want my spouse to be able to go with his boys and relax, relate, release. You know what I'm saying? Away from me so that he can refresh, regroup, and come back to me, having character while he's gone. And the same thing, when I need to just unwind, be away from the kids, the responsibilities of being a wife or whatever it is, I don't want to be held responsible for being something that I'm not just because I'm on a trip. We just got to be very aware of who we're choosing and what their character is. She seems to like doing things on the edge. It just happens to be this way because her friends, she's like, she had to crawl back to the hotel because the massage was that good. Listen, and laughing while her boyfriend's around. I don't know if
No,
I'm
I think that was a
jumping
mistake. I think that was a mistake. I don't think she knew where he was because that comes off as they were gonna keep that on the low, but at the same time, he just happened to be in the wrong place at the right time,
right.
and I heard that. No, so I mean,
Yeah, but she still did it. Like if she wasn't trying to live on the edge, she would have made sure like look, he in the house, like he around. I mean, if you're gonna be a criminal, be one. You know what I'm
but you
saying?
know
Do
what?
it right. But
You
she
know how
still
many
was
times?
able to laugh about it with her girl. I that's the character once again. That's her. That ain't got nothing
Yeah.
to do.
Well,
Yep.
see, I'm still gonna say that paints a negative light on the girls' trip. It's a negative light. Well, let's get back to the video and see where they go from here.
That had to be something else. She swore up and down she hadn't been with anyone else. Said it might have come from a public toilet or some kind of mix-up at the clinic.
See,
What?
mix up at the clinic, public toilet, massage.
You know those doctors ain't always careful,
Yeah,
she
them
said,
doctors ain't careful
brushing it off
either.
like lint on a jacket. DeMario wanted to believe her. He needed to believe her. He'd made his share of mistakes back when they first got together. Hadn't always been a perfect man. Maybe this was karma catching up to him. So he let it go. At least that's what he told himself. But now, after hearing that phone call, after seeing her laughing like that, after hearing the words second massage, the memory came rushing back like heat through old wounds. What if she was lying then? What if the STD wasn't random, but a receipt?
Hmm.
I think now.
That
Being,
toilet,
you know,
that toilet seat need to be cleaned. Mm.
no.
Right.
What about the massage his hands? Massage the hands. Yeah, chlamydia all over his hands. See, his hands are full of chlamydia. I'm going with the massage with the chlamydia. I don't know about that toilet seat.
Mm-mm.
But do you think it was karma? Because they're now saying, okay, because he must have did something in the past. So do y'all think it's karma they got him?
I
No, I
think it's
don't think
karma.
everything is karma. I think she's just not a good person. And I think that she was just outed because now you came back with an STD and you're giving that to your maid. That's how he found out. Unfortunately, he had to get something from her. But I don't think it's his karma. I believe that she's just 100% not a good person. And that's the way he found out.
Well, he cheated early on, from what they're saying. So I'm not saying the karma. That's how karma does work. But
I
like I
mean,
said,
whether he cheated or not, did she know about it? She chose to stay. We move on from that. We grow from that. We're not going to get backs. Okay. Oh, it's your turn now. I just gave you something. That's from before. That's from November when you cheated on me. So it's kind of like whatever the case might be. No, I think he needed to
well, come
know
on,
what she was doing on her girls' trips.
we both know that's going to be the excuse. Because if it is what it is, she gonna definitely say, "Well, you know what? This is what happened in the beginning. When I first met you, you did this." Because it's never women never take accountability for cheating. They don't never say, "I'm just a horrible person and I cheated." But no, we gonna you cheated first, and so I did it. I need to have a reason to cheat. So
Mm.
I
What
don't
I
know.
think
I,
is
I, I disagree. I
you
totally
disagree?
disagree. I don't think it's that way. All depends on your character, and the ladies touched up on that, right? All
Yeah.
depends on your character. All depends on who you hang around with. All depends on how you view things. Either you accept what happened and you move on, like when he cheated, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you're the kind of person that is thinking about the first opportunity I have, I'm going to get back at you. That's a character thing, right? It's not about he cheated, so I'm gonna cheat. Now it's your character, the one that's at stake here.
So
And
so you
I
don't believe you
I
don't
don't
believe she's gonna use that against him and say because he cheated in the beginning? You don't think she's gonna say that? That's why she cheated?
know
I
necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily that way. Could it be? Could she be out there
No, but
and
that's
be
what
in
she's
a
gonna use for
situation
her.
and then say, in a way, kind of, screw it, I'm going to do it because he did it and he's never going to find out, potentially. Again, all comes down to character.
Okay. But
Yeah,
like
I
I
think
said,
that I think what might make her comfortable doing it is because it was done to her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she'll blame it on that, but I think it might make she
come on.
stayed with someone who cheated, right? And when she felt it herself, she
Okay.
probably felt comfortable saying, "Well, I mean, it ain't like it ain't happened to me, so I'm
Right.
gonna keep it going and stay still." Like I don't know, karma. Like I don't want to say it. I feel like that's why she felt comfortable staying in a relationship where she could do wrong and he did wrong, instead of both of them just saying, "Look, let's go ahead and cut our eyes or let's fix it." You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's what I think.
But see, if he cheated in the beginning, yeah, y'all could be past it. But I'm betting money. This is a woman. Oh, you cheated. That's why I cheated. Watch and see. You cheated. I
Mhm.
cheated too.
I think
It's
I agree with Shay and Bianca though. I don't think that's why she cheated. I think it's because that's who she is.
oh
But
no.
her ability to be comfortable and stay and try to hide it and deceive makes her more comfortable. It gives her kind of like a cushion
But see,
because he
that's
didn't
what
Permission.
cheat.
Permission.
Right, permission. You know what I
y'all
mean?
still missing a temptation though. Because see, that's why the only sin in the Bible that tells you to flee is sexual.
Okay.
So again, you can be tempted. That's why I don't believe in the girl trip thing in that manner. Because when you're away from your husband or your wife, you're put in a position. Satan is there to tempt you. Like the Bible says, he's like a roaring lion. He's waiting to devour you. And without your protection, yeah, you could get yourself in a bind. And
But
easy bind. I'm not
So
saying she's a
there's
cheater.
a difference. There's a difference on a girl's trip to Vegas and a difference on a girl's trip to
To
a
Jamaica.
retreat or to a church function or to,
yes,
yeah,
Well, that's different.
there's a big difference.
Hey, hey,
there
Big
hey.
is.
difference.
Amen to that.
How
Yeah.
many
I
how
mean,
many
I just went
pastors
on
have
one
had
last
sex
year to
with
a
women?
retreat. To a retreat. And I know Luke and I had a discussion about that whole thing about, oh, if I should be going or not. And I'm like, it's a church retreat. And there's a difference. It wasn't Jamaica. We weren't in the island. Wasn't nobody in bikinis on the beach. It was a church retreat. We were having
Once again,
church. We were
once again,
praying. And so there's a difference. But also, I just want to add too, it's also the people that you're picking as far as friends.
Yes,
If you trust your mate, okay, usually I don't know about anybody else, but usually if you have friends, they're gonna meet my mate. If they have a
okay.
husband, they're gonna become friends. We're all gonna be friends, but
Yes, but see, you
I
still
want
got to
him to be
be
able to trust me to know
you
that
you
I'm gonna
bringing
be
you bringing a lot of fairy tale because how many of y'all friends
Very
would
true.
actually told if y'all cheated? Which one of your friends gonna come back and tell your husband?
my friends
oh
are
my
not,
God,
but
I have a
first of
lot of
all, they're
friends
gonna
that will
speak up
slap
before
me.
it even happens. They're
Okay,
gonna
Yeah,
say,
well,
hey
I just
girl,
have
don't
I'm
do
friends that will
that.
saying
slap
come
me.
back and tell. Who gonna come back and tell the husband like, you know what? Oh, she was over there doing some wild stuff. I don't know how you got married to her
But
because
see,
she
my
was
friends, we
wilding
wouldn't
out.
do. See, that's the thing. With my friends, the way we are, we're not even going to do that. If one of us is going to try, if we even step out of line, we're going to call each other out on that.
Yeah,
Hold
we're checking
up.
each other.
Hold on. What's going on? This is out of character for you. Let's go. Let's go back to the room. You need to
I'm
go
not
have a
buying
seat.
it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I know people. People are gonna
No,
be
that's
people.
No,
People,
I don't think so. I don't think so because
everybody's friends, not
people
hoes out
no,
here.
it ain't
yeah,
about.
Right.
I don't like I said. I talk to people every day. No, they don't tell. What state like that story goes. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Ain't nobody gonna come back here and tell that your wife was doing something inappropriate in another city or in another place, another
Because
country.
that's reactive, Luke. That's a reaction. What we're saying is that we have friends that will be proactive in keeping us from having to tell you
Yes.
anything because we're not
Yes.
going to do anything.
But
So your
again,
friends, your friend group, it matters. And once
Mhm.
again, if I was married and my husband told me I could not go on a girls trip, I don't care where I go, Turk and Caicos, and I'm gonna have a bikini on, and he tell me I can't go because he doesn't trust a girls trip. What he's saying is that he does not trust
Trust
me,
you.
and I
Mm-hmm.
would have a problem with that. I would have
well,
a
see,
huge problem with that,
you could
especially
have you could have the hugest problem with it, but biblically it's still not correct because again, you're not supposed to be out from under your protection. Period.
well,
See?
the Bible says that if you agree that you can actually be, you
Yeah,
can
you could
go
agree, but
Yeah.
for a time,
in this
so there
sexualized
can be agreed upon.
Yes.
our society today is over sexualized.
That
And
doesn't mean my
again,
husband and I have to be.
the worst thing that
Exactly.
the worst thing that Eve did was entertain that conversation. Once you go there, Satan got you. That's what I'm saying.
But
But
Once
you
you're
should
in there,
trust,
he
my
got you.
husband should trust that I'm
It ain't
not
got nothing to do
entertaining
with
any
trust.
conversation with
It
another
ain't that
male.
don't have anything to do with trust. That's why the
It
Bible
has
tell you
everything to do with it.
there's only one sin he tell you to flee. The
My
sex.
husband should be able to
You gotta
trust me
leave.
if I'm going on a girls trip or if I'm going up the street to Walmart. He should know that
Oh,
I'm going to take my behind there and I'm going to speak up and say, "Hey, I'm married." And he doesn't have any worries. That's trust. It has everything to do with
We have
trust.
trust.
and let's not let's even go one step further. How many relationships happen at work? Extramarital
Exactly.
relationships.
And
That's
we
where
all
most
So
of
work.
them
that
are.
means that you're going like that means that your husband needs to go to work with you too. Does that
Ooh,
make sense?
good
So
question.
no, it is not about that. I think I agree. There has to be a level of trust. That I'm not saying that you're going to be going every weekend
Right.
to a girls trip. I'm not saying you're going to be all the time going to places like Vegas or cruises or things like that. What I'm saying is that there has to be a level of trust, and there has to be again. We go back to the character. We go back to your values. We go back to who
Still,
you hang out with and
you
all that
still,
stuff. But no,
but
I yeah.
you still can be tempted. That's why the Bible makes it very clear
There's
that
temptations everywhere.
Yeah.
okay,
And
There's
you're at work
temptations
longer
everywhere.
than
There's
you are at
temptations
home
on
most of the
TV.
time.
and most affairs happen on the job. We're not
But see,
doubting
that's
that.
the
But
thing. But then
once
you have to have
again,
trust. You
but
have to
you're
have trust
still
because
you can't have, ma'am, you can't have trust if the Bible is telling you that's what he's saying. The whole thing of sexual immorality is sexual immorality. The one sin in the Bible that he tell you you can't deal with, that you got to leave. Every other sin you can stay there, but sin, the sexual sin, he had to leave. When what was it, Joseph? When the lady got Joseph, did Joseph stay or did he run?
so the
Because
way you're
sexual
saying it is you have to
again,
keep
because
your mate in your pocket. You can
Yeah.
never let your mate leave the house.
Right.
The way you're
that's not
saying
the way
it
I'm
is you
saying it.
have to keep
What
your
I'm
mate in
saying
the
is
house.
unnecessarily when you go on trips by yourself, you're in a place by yourself. People do different things when they're by themselves. When you with your husband, you act a different way. When you without your husband, you might act a whole different way. Because
That's
like
the
I said, you
problem.
see people
So
all the time.
Problem. That's what I think that's where we're trying to come from. If you can
What do you
choose through
think?
God's wisdom, you're not gonna get with somebody who's gonna switch up just because they're without their husband. They're gonna
But
be who they are,
we're not
like
saying
you
you
said, to
switch up.
work, to trip,
I'm
whatever.
not saying the young lady cheated because y'all saying she cheated because she's a bad person. I'm saying she might have cheated because she was in a place and a man is putting hands on her because that turns on people too. And y'all underestimating the turn on that part. So that's the part I'm saying to you. I'm not saying she's a cheater. I'm saying she might have made a mistake. She might have
Right.
got turned on. You could have got hot. Because really and
no.
truly, no
It
man should be
sounds
putting his
like
hands on
she
your wife.
is a serial vacation screwer person. This is not the first time she's been on a trip. He was recalling the first one that she went on and how she came home acting different,
Right.
giggling on her phone. This time she came home with it. So who knows? It sounds like when she goes on her girls trip, she
Well,
uses that as if she's going back to being single. That's what it sounds like to me.
Hmm.
No, it
Doesn't
sounds
sound
like
like this is the first time. She
no.
does this
Like
when
I
she
said,
goes on her
if
trips.
a man is putting hands on a woman, the Bible also says that too. You're my wife. You shouldn't be going nowhere getting touched by no man.
Now we're
Period.
not disagreeing
This
with
is
that.
why I don't believe with the male trip. I don't believe in the female trips. Okay,
Okay.
because that's another part of it. You could be tempted by anything. A man could be tempted by anything. Again, that's why you don't put yourself in harm's way.
But also, what you have to understand is that God gave us the Holy Spirit, and one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control.
Oh, let
So
me ask you
even
a
if a
question.
man is trying to tempt
Can I ask you a
her,
question?
that doesn't mean she has to go forward. Because she didn't come back sad and crying like she got molested or raped. She came
No,
back giggling
listen,
about it, amused by the fact that this massage had her on her.
she had a good
So
time.
that means she wasn't tempted beyond like something that she wanted. That's what temptation is anyway, something that she wanted. She
No.
didn't use
Well, let me
self-control.
ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a
Okay.
question, and I'm gonna leave. We're gonna get back to the video.
Okay.
David was described as a man after God's own heart.
Mm-hmm.
But when he looked out and saw Bathsheba taking that bath, what did David do?
He had to have him some. He
There you
wanted it.
go. That's the temptation we talking about. That's reality. I only deal with realities. I
Okay,
know
but
that
you're talking about, but
sex
you're
can
talking
tempt
about,
everybody. Everybody's addicted to it. You are
But you're
all
that's a
accountable
no.
lie.
for
That is
it
a
to happen.
lie. That's
That's
not
not
biblical.
true.
Not
David
everybody
is a
is addicted
man,
to
first of
sex.
all. You're lumping
I didn't say
everybody
everybody addicted to
together.
sex. What
You
I
just said
said was
everybody's addicted to it.
everybody's subject to it because if you this
Yeah.
is how it works. Sex
Jesus
by
was subject to
nature.
it, but he didn't do it.
Who?
Amen.
Jesus was subject to it, but he didn't do it.
Jesus never had a wife. So Jesus never tasted.
So Bathsheba
Jesus didn't
wasn't
have a
David's wife
woman.
at first. She was
See,
somebody else's wife.
Paul and Jesus didn't have every man other. Abraham had more than one wife.
Okay.
See? Job had more than one. They had concubines.
But
See,
you're
all
talking about
throughout,
men.
everybody had more than
But
one.
you're talking about men.
Sex is
Men,
a
men and
very
women don't
powerful thing,
operate the
and you can't
same when
play
it
with it.
comes. But you're talking about men. Men and women, you're okay. There, I do believe that there's a level of
Now we're gonna go with the
addiction
difference.
when it comes to certain people, but you're lumping everybody into one
No,
shell,
I'm
like
telling you,
everybody's operating
we
the
have to
same.
be aware again of how powerful sex is. That's what I'm saying. Because again, you can say you can trust the person, but there have been many of people who didn't set out with the notion to cheat, but ended up doing it. I talked to too many people that's done happened to. So it's both sides. They might be trustworthy people, but like I said, when you put in a position, you don't know how you're gonna respond in that position. No, you don't set out to have an accident every day, but it could happen. Nobody goes, oh, well, you know what, today might be the day. No, you go out with the notion that you're going to be there and go home and come back fine. But
So
there's a reality that you
based
have to
on this
deal with.
story, Luke, and based off of what you've heard, you think she's the one who came to Jamaica and she just didn't know that there was going to be anything, especially on this second trip. She just didn't know that any temptation was going to come.
Oh, no,
And
no,
she
she
was
had
just
already done
succumb
it.
to it.
I'm a firm believer, Sean, that when you cheat one time, Satan just wants you to cross the line. Once you cross the line, he got you. You done did it the first time, it makes it easier. It's like riding a bike. You remember the first time you rode a bike? When you rode it successful. First time you drove a car. The first time you drove it successful. It made it easy to do the next time. Once you cross the line, you're there. So now she's susceptible to any type of cheating because she's already done it and she done it successfully. He didn't find out. So now it makes it easier to do the next time. This is how all of it works. You ask any man that cheated. The first time might be difficult. The second time is easy. Because once you do it successful, it gets easier each time you do. Because all Satan wants you to do is get into the arena. Once he got you in the arena, you got. That's how that works. So the trouble is to stay out of the arena. Yeah, and like you said, we both admit that, hey, so 85% of women or men that have affairs start on the job. The second place you spend most of your time at, where you can, like I say, establish an affair with a person because you're seeing that person every day. And so, yeah, you can gradually get feeling. Now, you might go to work every day and set out not to cheat, but after a while, you start hanging with this person for so long, dealing with the person for so long, then you start liking the person. It can happen. Men build their bond through time. See, if I'm working with you every day and I'm liking you, you're bringing me food to work, and now we calling you that, what is it? The work wife, see, there you go. Next thing you know, you're in trouble. Because all Satan wanted to do is get you in the arena. Once you're in the arena, he got you. But let's hear the rest of the story.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Let's hear the rest of the story.
DeMario sat in his car that night, parked outside their house, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. The girls were inside. Keisha was inside. And all he could hear in his head was that voice from a year ago saying, "Baby, it's nothing. You probably picked it up somewhere else." But he hadn't. And now he wasn't sure what else he'd picked up that he hadn't seen yet. It was a regular Thursday evening when DeMario's phone lit up with a message from someone he hadn't heard from in months. Tanya Reed, Keisha's best friend. Loudmouthed, loyal, and always in the middle of the laughter. Now she was sliding into his inbox like a ghost out the dark. At first, he thought maybe she meant to message Keisha, but when he opened it, he froze. 3 videos, no greeting, no context, just a message beneath them. "I used to think you knew the person you married. Guess not." DeMario sat back on the couch, phone trembling in his hand. He didn't move for a long moment, just stared at the thumbnails, each one frozen mid-scene like a dare. The first clip, he tapped slow. The screen filled with a hotel room, soft lighting, clean white sheets, and Keisha, clear as day, in the lap of a man with thick dreads and nothing on but boxers. She was wearing a satin robe, barely tied, her braids tumbling down her back. She laughed, kissed his neck, rolled her hips in rhythm. DeMario's mouth went dry. He watched it again, just to be sure. It was her. Not just the face, the laugh, the way she leaned in close like the man was hers. The second clip, same room, different man. This one had a gold chain and tattoos across his chest. Keisha sat beside him on the bed, rubbing oil into his shoulders, whispering something low. Then she climbed into his lap. No hesitation. Just ease, familiarity. DeMario pressed pause and leaned forward, elbows on his knees, phone dangling in his hand like it had burned him.
DeMario is mad. He is really angry. That's messed up.
Now we want to talk
was
about.
loud in his ears.
You said what now?
No, I want to get her.
See, I'm telling you. Imagine somebody, see, like I say, you go in there having a man, big, strong
It
man.
didn't look like she was tempted. She was tempting them, according to me. She laid it in.
She knew how to play the game now. The game
She was rubbing with oil.
The game was played different
He
now.
was giving the massages. That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah, because she had already cheated. Now she's a veteran at cheating. Once you become a seasoned veteran, yeah, you're gonna act like a veteran. You're gonna act like a rookie. She done cheated before.
Yeah, so.
His jaw clenched. He hadn't even touched the third video yet, but something in him already knew it'd be worse. He tapped it anyway. This one was at the resort spa, based on the white walls and tiled floor. Keisha was face down on a massage table, barely covered by a towel the size of a napkin. A massage therapist, tall, muscular, was working her inner thighs slowly. She moaned, turned her head to the side and said, "Don't stop, baby. Go lower."
what?
The towel slipped. She didn't reach for it. DeMario slammed the phone face down on the table, his breath coming in short gasps. His entire body was hot. He stood up, paced the living room, walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, closed it. Nothing made sense. Nothing felt real. He picked the phone back up and stared at Tanya's message again. "I used to think you knew the person you married. Guess not." He typed back, "Why would you send this to me?" The reply came quick. "Because she got slick with her mouth. Told me I was jealous. Said she was just having fun and needed it. So you might as well know who you're living with." DeMario read the message 3 times. So this wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal layered in casual arrogance. She hadn't slipped. She hadn't fallen into it by mistake. She chose it, lived in it, bragged about it. And Tanya, her so-called best friend, waited until a fallout to expose it. He sank onto the couch, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. 3 videos, 3 men, and not a single ounce of remorse. Not a single tear, no apology, no explanation. Just laughter, moaning, oil, and lies. Demario sat there for hours, not moving, not speaking, not thinking straight, just playing those videos in his mind on a loop until they stopped feeling like strangers and started feeling like memories, like pieces of his life that were stolen while he wasn't looking. The worst part? She came home like nothing happened, kissed him, hugged their daughters, slept beside him with a clean conscience. And all that time, she knew what she did. Now, so did he. Demario didn't say anything the night he got the videos. Didn't scream, didn't throw her phone or wake the girls. He just sat on the couch in the dark. Those
Hey,
Whew.
How did she get the videos? And who took the videos?
I was wondering that too, Bianca.
Sounds like
Yeah, I
her
mean,
friend saved him for sounds like her friend saved him for blackmail, I guess. That's crazy.
yeah, definitely her friend had, yeah, blackmail for sure.
Now, was she had told if the girl didn't make her mad?
And she probably
Ah,
wouldn't have, but who knows? She had the videos just in case. It's almost like she had it just in case. Hey, I got something on you. So if something ever falls out between us, I'm gonna send these right to your husband. But and again, what kind of friend is that? Because a good friend is not even gonna let you even get into those acts at all. But
Right.
each its own.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
beg to differ. Like I just said, you a grown person. You out here. You know you got a husband. You know what you can and can't do.
Right.
Hmm.
I shouldn't be here out here trying to stop a grown person from doing grown people stuff.
No,
That's not.
no, and I'm saying
Right.
that, but I'm just saying, like, the measures beforehand. So a good friend, even if it was her first time, and okay, listen, I think he's getting a little too touchy feely. Listen, don't. You're gonna speak up to your friend, like, "Hey, girl, you feel comfortable over there? Your
But
towel is
first of all,
falling off you."
I'm
You're gonna
sure she
speak
wasn't
up.
thinking. I'm sure the massage wasn't. This is what Blanca was asking. How you gonna take a video? Because usually that's a private thing. You over there with the person by yourself. If I'm getting a
Yeah.
massage, you over here. Who's who's standing around with a camera?
And even the
Yeah.
Right.
first one where she's kissing
Yeah,
them on
she did
the
it
neck or
herself.
rubbing them with oil, which means that both of them thought it was okay to be there. Both of them thought it was all right or funny. And like they said, like that arrogance that she has, that she knows her friends videotaping her while she's doing all of these acts. It's I don't know, I guess her vows didn't mean what they probably should have meant to her. You know what I'm saying? To be able to get in a person's lap. She said the video said she was familiar with this.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought maybe she was familiar because it was the guy from the first trip, but these were different men. Meaning she was familiar with doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
So yeah, her vows didn't mean what they probably should have meant.
But we're
And her
dealing
friends
with.
are wrong too.
You don't think people don't take today? People don't take that as serious as they should. That's why we got so many divorces going on in America now. But at the same time, nobody takes that to that level of seriousness. Of okay, now I mean, even when it comes to sex, if they knew how dangerous sex was, you wouldn't be so easy jumping in and out of it because that is an exchanging of spirits too. So, but people do it on an everyday basis, so it's so easy to be done. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm. So nobody takes the sanctity of marriage as they used to. We just, like I said, because I mean, if he wouldn't have found out, if if the friend wouldn't have sent the message, and he didn't get chlamydia from the hands, then she would have got away with murder. Bottom line,
Mm.
you would
Yeah.
never know, and it would have never been up for discussion
Well, the
because
dad was already there, but it wasn't confirmed until all this happened. And that's the thing, because you're always gonna justify when you don't want to see it, right? Even though you have all the all the proof in front of you, if if you love someone, you're gonna try to justify it,
Hmm.
right? Because you don't want to hurt, you don't want to see it, even though it's there and it's clear. But and even, you know, just the way he reacted when he was looking at the videos, like he was looking for confirmation that it was her, even though he already knew it was her, right? Like, you know your person, especially if you're married, like, you know your person, you know how they move, you know how they walk, you know all those things.
Right.
So because in your mind, it's that justification and that denial of, no, this is not happening, no, this is it's not them, no, this is not happening to me. So all those things go through your head all at once,
Yeah.
and your reality now is tainted. Your reality now has been shifted, and it's blurry, it's clear, it's not clear, it's foggy.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when, you know, even though you know it's true, you feel it, it's in your gut, you see the signs, you're still trying to justify it. And then even when it's so blunt, like a video, you're still gonna try to look for confirmation that it's already there.
That's
Right.
true.
Agreed.
Said it
I
right on
just,
you hit it right on the nail. So that's the thing too. And yeah, like she said, it was clear as day. He saw confirmation. He saw the giggling and on the phone, and let's all face it, I've experienced that. You can tell. It's like, okay, your phone is a little attached to your hip too much. Like, you just won't put it down. You start to notice different patterns that are changing. You know, when people turn their phone and face it down all of a sudden your phone, it's up any other time. Now all of a sudden you've been on it more and now it's facing down, or the volume's down. Now it's vibrating. You don't even have your ringtone on. Just different things that you see that just doesn't add up, and you start to play it out in your mind, and you're trying to justify, okay, well, maybe they didn't want to wake me up, maybe they didn't want to, you're making excuses in your mind, but in the back of your mind, you know, those are the signs of somebody being sneaky.
well, like I said, she's a seasoned veteran. We're gonna watch her on to see what she did next. She gonna do some more stuff, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness.
Because I don't know if I could have been like, he sat there and didn't say nothing for all that time. Yeah, that was a whole nother month.
He didn't say anything because he felt guilty for what he did in the beginning. His silence came from his own guilt.
No, if you watch this man putting hands on your woman, no, that's a whole, we men, we right then you enraged. Because that's why I was laughing. I know that hat probably popped off his head.
Those 3 videos burned into his eyes like someone had branded him with truth. All night he stared at the ceiling, listening to her soft breathing from the bedroom, wondering how a person could lie beside you with that much peace after doing something so loud. The next morning, Keisha moved like everything was normal, made coffee, played some slow gospel on her phone, wore her scrubs like armor, twisting her braids into a bun at the back of her head. She looked beautiful, confident, the same woman he married, but somehow not. She was on her way out the door when he finally said it. "You got something to tell me?" She froze with the keys, turned slow. "What's that supposed to mean?" He stood in the hallway, arms crossed, phone in hand. He didn't need to shout. The truth was already louder than both of them. "Tanya sent me the videos." Her face didn't change. Not one flinch, not one gasp. "Oh."
Well, Tanya sent her the videos. What y'all think about that?
I mean, hey, that's
That's all she said. "Oh." He stepped forward. 3 of them, Keisha. Not one mistake, not one moment. 3. That ain't nothing. She exhaled hard through her nose and set her purse down on the counter like she was too tired for the drama. "It was just fun." His eyebrows twitched. "Fun? Yeah, a massage, a little play. I didn't catch feelings. It wasn't that deep." "You was straddling folks in a hotel room and moaning at strangers in a spa," he snapped. "That ain't no massage. That's none of your business," she cut in, calm but
That
sharp.
ain't none of his business.
"What I did was for me. I needed to feel something. Needed to remember I'm still young, still wanted."
Yeah.
He stared at her. "So you throw away your family for what? Attention?" She rolled her eyes. Don't do that, Demario. Don't act brand new. You forgot who cheated first? He froze. What? You. When we were dating?
Didn't I tell you? I knew it was coming. See? I knew that was coming.
Crazy. But and she
So my
cheated
biggest
when they were
question here
dating.
is, if he cheated when they were dating, why did they marry?
Why did she marry? That's what I was gonna say. Why they were
Yeah.
dating.
I'm with you, Blanca, because that's what I'm saying. If you married the person, you agreed to go ahead and let that be a bygone. But I knew she was going to do that because she's not going to come out as a woman and say I'm a bad person and went and slept with another man. I have never had a woman tell me, "Oh yeah, I was completely wrong. I did it." They always say, "Well, you know what? He was cheating, or but he wasn't spending enough time with me. He worked too much." I hear all of that.
These are the same excuses men give too. So let's not just put it on a woman. Anybody that's gonna have an excuse.
No, but when I get men that cheat, they'll tell you, we just bad people. I made a mistake. They don't blame it on what she's not doing or something she does.
Really?
They will own up to it. They will be like,
ladies, y'all heard men say it's just because I'm a bad person? Have y'all heard a man say that?
No, I've never heard that.
I've heard a man say
that. I've heard were, oh wow, I don't know. It's almost like they fell into it by accident. Like I didn't mean to. She was coming.
No, but have you ever heard a man say, "Okay, well, I cheated because she wasn't doing something"?
Yes.
I
have.
Yes.
Like she wasn't there for me anymore. She didn't support the way she used to.
You know,
she wasn't giving it up the way that she used to.
Google it right now.
I've heard all of that.
I don't need to Google it. I'm talking about real life scenarios where their excuses have been
in real life.
Oh, well, you got sick and you weren't able to do stuff because you were sick.
I got caught up. They don't never say, "Oh, what she wasn't doing." I never get that. When I'm talking to a woman and she does it, she's gonna give me a reason why she does it. Let's not forget this is what was going on. Okay, he was spending way too much time at work, or he was doing it. We never get, well, you know what, I'm a messed up person. You know what, I just, I was hot and bothered. She gave all the reasons. She said she wanted to be attracted again. She wasn't getting that at home. She wasn't getting this. See, the point here is, if you're not getting it, you still got to be a good woman, regardless, and the man as well. But what I'm saying is, most of the time when I talk to men don't give me the whole thing of, well, you know what, I was out here and, well, you know what, she was at work too much, or she didn't cook. You know what? That was her problem. She didn't cook. So she didn't cook, so that's why you cheated. No, we don't get that, because we're going to hold you accountable for what you say. I can't hold you accountable for what you say, but I'm holding men accountable for what they say. When they come and tell me that, okay, this is how it works, I won't be like, well, come on now. That's not real.
Maybe when you're talking to men because you're a man and they know that you can relate because you're a man, maybe they're telling you something different. But I bet you when they're home with that woman, they're giving her an excuse and they're saying, well, honey, you've been working a lot of hours. Trust me. That's what's happening, because I've never heard a man say, oh, well, it was just nothing. I just slid into it.
No, I said they usually have an excuse. Caught up, meaning that they started talking to the person, hanging around the person, and they got caught up. Most men.
I've had that happen. Real story where I was told I had unfinished business and I just started hanging with her and, things just happened. This is the stuff I've heard in real life from men.
Again,
we started hanging around and I just got caught up. I had unfinished business.
That's what most men say. But most men are not going to give you this thing where, you know what, I was feeling alone, and I was, you hadn't said hi to me yesterday, and so I was thinking that you didn't love me. That's not a man's excuse. A man going to give you, well, I got caught up, or like I said, he's not going to say, well, what you didn't do. He's going to give you what it was.
Well, I work in the same space, Luke. I work with men and women who are dating and in relationships, and they always say to me, she lost respect for me, so I went out. I actually didn't get from her what she was giving in the beginning, so I left out. I wanted to have more sex, and she didn't have the same job as me, so I went and got it. Like, they have excuses instead of trying to fix it. So it's not that they just like, I'm just a bad person, I just got caught up. No,
I'm a man, I have needs.
There you go. So it's
Yeah, I
not.
mean, we do
I
have
haven't
needs.
heard a man that just say, I'm just a bad person," or "I'm just
No,
messed
because
up."
that's the nature of man. A man needs sex. A woman wants sex. There's
Well,
two
that's
different
fine, but
things.
that's still an excuse, because if you're in a relationship, you discuss it and you fix it. You don't just cheat. You end it if you can't work it out. That's it. You don't cheat.
Again, all throughout the Bible, all the men that were married, how many of them had one woman? See,
Um,
not a one. Because it's in a man's nature to have all women. His relationship with God is what makes him want one woman. But he's still capable of having a mistake, just like anybody else.
Everybody's
yeah,
capable,
everybody's
but
capable
the
of
thing
having
is,
mistakes.
you're not supposed to do it. We're all capable of it.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why when I give this right here, in the book of Hosea, God compared himself to Hosea, and he compared us to the prostitute. See? So we have to understand at this point in time, we're all capable. No, you shouldn't be capable of it because you don't really have the same urge as a man, but you shouldn't be capable of it because a woman wasn't designed to sleep with multiple men.
But there are Jezebels. Okay, so that is a
Yeah.
thing. So
Why, why do people,
especially now,
why do
women are
people
more
think
sexualized than the
Jezebel
men
wasn't
these days. So you
Jezebel
have a
wasn't
lot of
a
that.
sexual creature. Jezebel also was tearing up the church. First and foremost, Jezebel was a prophetess.
Regardless, there's pastors that sleep around too. I mean, it don't matter what your title
We
is.
ain't
We're all
talking about
capable
her.
of it.
We talking about Jezebel as a woman. She was a prophetess. She wasn't
Hmm.
just sleeping with people. She also was destroying the church.
Yeah, exactly. She was a prophetess, but what I'm saying to you is we're all capable of it, but we're supposed to
No,
not do it.
you're not supposed to be capable of it because you don't have this. You don't have a need for sex. You got a want for sex. That's why a woman can pick and choose who she want to sleep with.
Well,
A
certain
man
people,
will
yeah.
men will sleep with whoever. They
I
don't
hear
even gotta
that.
like you and
I
sleep with
agree,
you.
but basing it off of this video and this woman that's sexualized, okay, not just for her husband, she's going on trips, giving it up to 3 different men or whatever she was doing. I'm just saying, women are more capable than men these days. So even if they don't have that in them, because I understand men, you guys have, there's a difference, but women are out here doing just as much as the men. This woman is showing that.
We're not
So
doubting that, but what we're saying is you shouldn't have that. That's telling us who you are now. Because again,
that's good.
as we deal with modern women, see that's where the issue coming in.
Hmm.
You're expecting we got modern women, but you're expecting men to respond and do things as they did in the old. But you guys have changed. That's the point I'm making. Because you want a traditional man, but you a modern woman. You doing what modern women do. See, the women used to, not all of them, but some of them, but at the same time, they have their cake and eat it too. But at the same time, most women strived on not being called out of their name for those reasons because there's a name
Hmm.
came with that. But today, since they don't call that name and you can't say that name, we got more than ever of people stepping out doing the things that they shouldn't be doing. So
Oh yeah,
that's why
I agree with that. I agree
we
with
got
that
we got
100%. You
right
have
now
more
more
people
women,
doing. People are doing the mostest today.
and
They
sleeping
are.
with other women is another one. See, so you can't even trust your
But
female
see,
friend.
you have this thing where it's, and I agree with you wholeheartedly because of the girls trips and everything. But you can't just say, oh, and you got the girls out here sleeping with them. You have men sleeping with men at an alarming rate too, sir. You
Now,
got more down low men out here than ever. So we
there's
can't
no
even
such.
go there.
See,
And I
this is
live
the
right in the
thing.
capital of it. So you can't even say that. So not
Me,
today. You
me
just
and
don't
Sharonda
know
both.
anymore.
Me and Sharonda. Matter of fact, well, exception of Blanca. Blanca don't live here. This is not. There's no such thing as a download because see now everybody's cool with being out front. There are
No.
women now who are asking to sleep with men who definitely do both sides.
Mm.
So it's no such thing as a down low. The down low is a 90s thing. Nobody's hiding anything today. You don't have to.
Some people,
Okay.
some people
Some
are.
people
You
People,
have to be
still,
careful.
some people are not being open with that, but okay.
right now, there's a dilemma going on right now in Georgia where it's like 75% of studs are getting pregnant by men. See?
Okay.
Women are sleeping with women at a higher rate because there's more of y'all than it is us. But let's go watch the rest of the video. I think we done lost Blanca.
You think I
My
forgot
God.
about Lisa from the tire shop? Or the girl you swore was just a cousin? Nah, you broke that trust first. I just moved past it. She looked at him like he was the one who owed her something. Let it go, she said, picking up her coffee. Those 3 words slid down his throat like glass. Let it go. The room was quiet. The girls were still sleeping. The world outside was turning like nothing had shifted, but DeMario's whole spine was pulsing. Let it go, he repeated, almost whispering. You think this is the same? I made my mistakes, but I never brought no videos home. Never gave you no disease. Keisha's eyes narrowed. What? That STD last year? He said. I let that slide. Believed your little story about the clinic or a toilet seat. But now I know better. She laughed. You still on that? I told you that wasn't me. You was just in Jamaica the first time. Came back 2 weeks later, I catch something. And now I see who you really was down there. She looked away, jaw tightening, coffee mug trembling just slightly. DeMario stepped closer. Tell the truth, Keisha. Did you cheat on me that first trip too? She didn't say anything, didn't nod, didn't shake her head. Just stood there, sipping her coffee like the room wasn't collapsing. That silence told him everything. He felt his hands curl into fists at his sides, not from rage, but from hurt. That deep, twisted kind of pain you feel when someone you love spits in your face with a smile. You could have told me, he said quietly. I might have worked through it. I might have forgiven you. But you came home, kissed our daughters, slept in our bed, and lied to me twice. Keisha finally set the mug down and met his eyes. I'm not perfect. You knew that. But you always acted like you were some saint. You're not, DeMario. And if we go and start pulling up dirt, best believe yours don't smell like roses. He blinked slow. There it was. She didn't care. Not really. Not about the pain, not about the risk, not about what it might have cost them. And for the first time in years, he saw her not as the woman he loved, but as someone who had already let go of him a long time ago. She picked her purse back up and grabbed her keys. I got a double shift, she said. We can talk later. Then she walked out the door. Just like that. It had been a week since DeMario confronted her. 7 full days of pretending. Pretending things were fine. Pretending they were still partners. Pretending the house didn't feel like a coffin they were both quietly dying in. He tried to bury it, to swallow it like medicine. But the taste kept rising back up. The videos, her laughter, the shrug, the words, let it go. It played in his mind like background music on a loop. This particular morning, the girls were already at school, their backpacks still hung by the door, and their cereal bowls sat rinsed in the sink. The house was quiet, too quiet. DeMario walked into their bedroom to find Keisha packing a weekend bag. Her scrubs were folded, makeup kit zipped, edges of a Victoria's Secret bra peeking from the corner of her clothes. Work trip? He asked, leaning against the doorway.
So she's trying to go somewhere else? Packing up her bag. Look like she's trying to head out somewhere else.
No,
That's
she got to
crazy.
work. She work overnight. She a nurse. She work at the hospital.
Oh gosh.
That's why she know you could get chlamydia from massage. Like she had first-hand knowledge of that.
I'd be like, well, just go ahead and stay where you going. Just around.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be wondering who you sleep with every time you
No.
leave the house.
Every time you pack your
It's not.
bag and then I'm looking over my no.
You know they say doctors have the most affairs with nurses on the job, right?
They say that. They say that's a thing. It's pilots. I can name drop them.
Oh really?
Firefighters, pilots. What is it? Pilots, firefight. Let me see. Police officers, doctors. Yeah, they have the highest rate of I don't know what it is on the job. It must be, I don't know if
The
they,
long
maybe because
hours,
they put
30.
in a lot of overtime, so that could be what it is too. Sometimes they're doing doubles, so that might be a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a sleeping room where the doctors go to sleep.
They've been inviting people in.
Come on in here, Nurse Jean. Come on in here. I need you to administrate me some of this.
There was and you know something that's crazy, but there was a nurse who actually, she was terminated a week ago. I just seen it. She was actually recording some of the chicks that were doing that. They're like, she was watching them go in the room with the doctor. She's like, hey, husbands, just in case you're wondering what your wife is doing after hours, there she is going into that room with the doctor. And you know what? People went to HR and they got her fired. Instead of them looking into why they're going
She
in the
got
room with the
hired?
doctor,
Oh, wow.
she got terminated, but another hospital picked her up, and I guess they probably said, "Listen, don't be recording us, but we'll hire you."
Now look at that. Infidelity didn't matter. Her recording
Yeah,
is what mattered.
No, because the hospital don't want the positive. First of all, that's a business. We can't have that negative light on us. You
Yeah.
put it on.
yeah, she was out in
Yes,
them
what they're
right on
doing is wrong,
TikTok.
but
She was like, "This is what your wives are doing after
we're gonna
hours
have
with the
people not want to
doctors."
come to our hospital. That's how we make our money.
Double
Yeesh.
shift. I'll stay over at the nurse's lounge between rounds. Less driving. He watched her zip the bag. You going back to him? He asked. She stopped. Back to who? The one from the spa? Or the one in the hotel room? Or maybe the one with the tattoos? Hell, pick a name. I've seen all three now. Keisha rolled her eyes and turned to face him. Still with that? You gave me something, Keisha, he said, stepping into the room. And then lied about it. Sat across from me at the clinic and blamed it on a toilet seat. She crossed her arms. And yet, you're still here. That landed like a slap. DeMario's chest rose, fell, slowly. You think this is about staying? He said. This is about the truth. About the fact that you dragged me through your dirt and then dared me to complain about the stains. Keisha shook her head. You want a prize for being faithful for 9 years? After what you did when we were dating? Don't make me laugh. He stepped closer. I told you I was wrong back then. You forgave me, or so I thought. Yeah, and I thought you were a man who could take what he dished out. She picked up her bag and started to walk past him. He blocked the doorway. Move, DeMario. No, not this time. He was calm, but not cold. Something in his voice cracked just enough to sound like a warning. Keisha sighed and set the bag down with a thud. You want to fight? Fine, let's fight. Yeah, I cheated. Twice, so what? I didn't love them, didn't plan it, didn't run off and abandon my family. I came back every time. You think you're some martyr because you didn't film it? You think you're better than me? I was better than this, he said low. Better than someone who could smile in my face and lie for a whole year. I did what I had to do to feel alive, DeMario, she snapped. This house, these kids, that job, it's drowning me. And you just sit there with your quiet little routines, acting like that's love. It was love, he said, until you killed it. Silence fell between them, the kind of silence that felt like someone else had walked into the room and shut the air off. Then she said it, the final flick of the match. You so broken over me getting mine, but you ain't asked yourself why I had to go get it. You ever think maybe you were the problem? DeMario's eyes scanned the room, and then he saw it. That vase. It sat on the hallway table by the bedroom door. A gift from her aunt. Ceramic, floral, pointless. Just something to fill space. He didn't plan it, didn't think. His hand moved before his brain did. One swing, one sound, a sickening crack that echoed through the drywall like a gunshot. Keisha dropped to the floor. Her body hit the carpet with a thud that made the house feel still, unnaturally still. The vase shattered in his hand. A sharp piece sliced his thumb, but he didn't notice, didn't feel the pain, just looked down at her. She wasn't moving. Blood seeped into the fibers of the rug. Slow, dark, final. DeMario dropped what was left of the vase and stumbled back like he was waking up from a dream. His chest heaved, his ears rang. He looked at her face, her eyes still open, wide with shock, mouth slightly parted like she was about to say something. But no words came, no breath, nothing. He didn't run, didn't try to clean it up or hide the evidence. He walked to the living room in a daze, picked up the phone, and called 911. "My wife," he said. "I think I hurt her bad." The operator kept talking, but he couldn't hear. He sat on the front steps, hands covered in blood, staring into the distance. And when the sirens started, he didn't flinch. The neighbors came out of their houses, but Demario Cole, he just sat there waiting to be taken, waiting for the weight of it all to catch up. When the girls got off the school bus, they didn't run toward the house like they usually did. They froze. Flashing red and blue lights bounced off the windows. An ambulance idled out front, back doors wide open. Police cars lined the curb like a scene from someone else's nightmare. And their father, Demario Cole, was sitting on the front steps in handcuffs. His head was bowed. Blood stained his hands and shirt. He didn't even look up as the girls screamed. A neighbor ran to hold the youngest. The oldest tried to run inside, but an officer stopped her at the porch, gently guiding her back. Inside, Keisha lay motionless on the floor. Paramedics worked fast, voices low but urgent. The blood had soaked through the carpet, and her breathing was shallow, barely there. The ambulance pulled off minutes later. One of the medics shook his head before closing the doors. Demario didn't say a word. Not.
Does learning to shoot and edit videos feel like you're trying to solve one of these? You're not alone.
Wow. That's rough.
Well, I knew it was going to come to that, but didn't think he'd do all that. But gosh, was that the outcome y'all thought y'all would get?
Nope.
No, I wasn't expecting that. But in a situation like that, you really don't know what someone will do. You don't know what your actions can cause, because that's what you call somebody snapped.
Yeah.
Because she's leaving and she's nonchalantly talking like, okay, well, you did it to me. And in his mind, he's seeing it bigger than how she was talking about it. Like, it was bigger to him. He was hurting in the moment. Like, and everything she said was like, so what? I sit in here, the kids, they get on my nerves. It's like the life she has with kids and a family. And he's thinking that probably things are great. And she's talking about it like, okay, these walls are closing in. And, and it's like he snapped. Because if you felt that way, and a lot of people do this, you might have been going through this and you might have felt this way. If you felt like the walls, you don't wait until right now to say, when were you going to have that discussion before, like, hey, honey, I think we need to spend more time together. I'm going to try to stop. I'm not going to work that many hours. I feel like we're distancing. Hey, let's do something with the kids. When are you going to have that discussion? You don't wait until all this stuff, and in your mind, you're playing this out. Now you created this whole other life, and you're doing lap dances on guys and on your girls trip. And then your husband gets wind of this, and he probably didn't know anything was wrong because you didn't talk to him about it.
Well,
so it's like he's finding this out right now. Everything's just crashing in his mind. Like, oh my goodness, she's like, oh, you got your routines, and he's hearing all this, and in the moment he just grabs the vase and he's like, you know what? No thought.
This is what I said when he first heard that video. See, once the man see the video, men and women handle cheating differently. It's two different ways we see it. Men see it, like I said, it was a betrayal. But at the same time, when he watched the video, that's where he made his biggest mistake at. Because to actually see the man doing something to the woman that he loved, again, like I said, he stayed quiet. I don't know how he did that, but at the same time, because after you watch the video, see, there's no more this. Okay, at this point in time, a woman betrayal is because her bonding is through sex, where our bonding is with time. So now he's seeing this woman. That's why she told him, well, I don't love him. I'm not in love with him. But see, for a man, that doesn't make a difference for us. because at the same time, you done crossed the line, and there's no coming back from this. What he was trying to do was prioritize it in his head to not do it. But he was already, like I said, when he watched that video, he lost it then, because to actually see it actually happen, the man putting his hand on his woman, that was it. That thing was already done. And so now she was about to go out again, and she could have been going to work for real by the same token. But at this point in time, all he could see is the man touching her.
Yeah, because every time you leave the house now, that's going to be in his mind.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to think that just because they seen you in those videos doing that. So you could be going to work, but every time you leave the house now, he's thinking, what is she going to be doing?
It was the overnight. She had been working. It was the packing the bag overnight, and then he saw the bra strap hanging out the bag.
Yeah, but you know when he snapped is when she said, have you ever thought about you being the problem? And so the thing is that when he saw the video, he still was able to stay silent for 7 days.
Yeah.
He saw the bra strap on the thing, and he was able to question, are you going out? Are you working overnight or traveling, whatever? But after she said, these are the problems, have you ever considered that the reason why I'm doing this is you? I think that's what threw him over the edge. Like, you can lie, you can cheat, you can risk our relationship, you can give me a disease, but now you want to blame me? Like, that's, to me, that's when I saw his last string broken. It's like, I can forget. I remember I cheated when we were dating and everything, but now you're gonna blame me? Oh yeah, Vase, here it is. But my biggest concern are the kids, because her negligence, because of his lack of speaking up, because of guilt. These children now are gonna be parentless, and they're gonna have to overcome the crazy because of them.
Yeah.
That's what's worse than all of that. Y'all are two adults acting that way, but now these children
are gonna have to deal with it.
They don't have their mom or their dad now. They're taking dad away and mom's gone. So yeah.
I hope her shallow breathing goes back to regular breathing. I don't know. I'm not anything in medicine, but I pray that she doesn't die. Because once again, it's about the children. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said, she on her way to a coma though, because the shallow breathing is going to get to the point where, and then with the blood loss,
Well, depending on, especially, it depends. Yeah, if she was breathing shallow, your brain, that's the control center of your whole body. So she might be a little brain dead with that, lose the loss of oxygen for that much time.
That's an open head injury. If it was no bleeding, closed head injury, it would be different. But this is an open head injury, so she's probably more than likely she's gonna go into a coma because it's an open head. But outside of that, like I said, if it was a closed head, it would probably be a concussion at best.
Yeah.
He opened her head up. That base must have been mighty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would. They got her in time, but she might be in a coma for a little bit.
Yeah.
But at best. But she might come out.
At the end of the day, my whole thing is with this whole story, I still pray for healing. No, I don't want would never wish anybody getting hurt.
Right.
Wouldn't wish that even the chlamydia on someone. Nothing, At the end of the day, I hope she gets her life together, and may this be the testimony that she'll one day be able to share with someone. To be like, look, this is why it's important to just, when you take those vows, like Sharonda said, her vows wasn't important to her. When you take those vows, really take them vows, take them to heart, and just know that you have to mean it, because that other person means it. And if you step outside of those vows, you don't know what that could cause someone to do. So,
but see, that's the whole thing though. In a relationship, you gotta be selfless. And we're too attached to be in a relationship for us. The desire is supposed to be our own. The desire, your desire is supposed to be for God. Most important. That's the whole thing. So these things shouldn't stumble with us all the time. But see, because we live in these relationships with our own desires. This ain't supposed to happen to me, so that's why we got this. But if we went with the notion that God says that we're supposed to be forgiven, see, we're supposed to be able to forgive and walk away with it. But like I said,
Yeah.
many people will leave and do all other kind of things with it. This is about growing up because God is telling you. That's why I reference the book of Hosea. God is telling you he was Hosea. He continued to love the prostitute, but the prostitute was never going to do him right.
Mm-hmm.
And so he understood that, but he didn't stop loving you. He kept forgiving you. He's not going to let just turn it back. But we got the notion when we get into marriages that everything got to happen our way and to our liking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wrong. You can't. That's why I tell people all the time: marriage is about duty. It's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's work. And you got to lose yourself in marriage. You can't remain yourself in the marriage, or that marriage is not going to work because I got too much of myself in it. We got pride. We got all kinds of things today, and that's going to stop us. Well, no, she ain't supposed to do this. She ain't supposed to go outside of me. But at the same time, no, they didn't communicate. That's the main thing. There was no communication in that relationship. And nobody sat down to tell. And if she had a problem, it was her job to sit down and tell him if she had a problem. But being that I know you cheated, I'm gonna use this trump card, and that's where I knew that was going to come in.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's why she was comfortable. But I was getting on him for feeling guilty and not saying anything. But the truth of the matter is, she should have never married him. She
Yeah.
should have never married him because
Exactly.
No.
the truth is that who he was at the core of him was a quiet, routine man. And if she needs vibrancy and life and all the action that she's getting when she gets out, if that's what she needed, she should have married someone else.
Yeah, she should have because she clearly didn't forgive him from when they were
Right.
dating. She carried that right on into a
She
marriage,
sure did.
and you held that over his head. I know people who have
She
done that,
forgave him,
and
but she used that as a
it's not good.
Did not forgive him. Because if she would have forgave him, it never would have came up the way that it came
She
up.
would have never. Yes.
yeah, but she married him. That's the forgiving part.
No,
No,
she didn't forgive
did
him.
not.
She still held on
No,
to him cheating from when they were dating.
forgave
Yes.
him. Not she didn't forgive him the way y'all saying it. I'm saying she forgave him enough to marry him. See, like I said, if I go into a marriage and a woman cheats on me and outside of that, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there. I'm not getting married to you because when you say I do, you're saying I do to all the mess that person has. That's why they ask, do you take this person or this man or this woman? See, when you say I do, I'm agreeing to, okay, that's okay with me. So at this point in time, if that's not okay with me, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
and she did, and
But
she
that's what
did.
I'm saying. She
Making
forgave him enough
him,
to get married.
feel like,
If she didn't forgive him, she could have, if she didn't, she would have never married him. She would have been like,
and
no,
it,
I can't marry
yeah,
you.
Yeah, but she didn't forgive him because she held it over over his
No,
head. So it sounds to me as okay. The wedding was already in place. She probably just wanted to go through again. People like to have weddings for pictures. She probably just went through the
no,
motion,
no, she knew
went
she
through the motion, but she still held that on.
it's,
Forgiving is letting that whole
because
thing go.
it's the
You
same
never
thing
gonna bring that up again.
when we play
That's
Monopoly and you get that get out of jail free card, you hold on to it. You know you're gonna need it at some point in time. It's to get out of this. She knew she had it. It was just a matter of time when she was gonna use it. Well, now I'm going on this girl trip. This man's hands feel real good. It's making me hot. I'm getting wet. Okay, we're gonna go full speed. Because see, I know he already done it to me. That's how most people think. They don't think in terms of, she didn't think that it was going to ever come that she was going to cheat back. But now I'm presented with this position and this man's hands feel good. That's why I don't believe in all the touching.
well,
I
I
don't.
don't know because she said I didn't know that I was marrying a man who couldn't take what he dished out.
But see,
So
that's,
when she said something like that, it was almost like
but I,
we both
yeah.
gonna
no, but
be
It's like you're
never
throwing
planning
it in
to.
his
It's not
face.
like it just happened. I feel like she just never planned
no, but
to
I
make
think that became an argument because she was in argumentative mode because now he going, it became a back and forth. So that just came out to remind him, like, look, I mean, you done did it. So I thought you could handle it. That
right.
was just in the moment. That wasn't said. Like I said, she never figured he would hit her with that vase. That
Right.
was crossing her mind. Because see, she didn't think it would go there. She said, let's fight. Well, I'm not going to ask this man to fight and I done cheated on him because that's asking for
That's crazy. It's just really, 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 really really unfortunate because it's beyond them. I mean, more so than anything, they would have to deal with their own healing if they decide to stay or break up, whatever. But now these girls are going to have to relearn what marriage is about, what infidelity is about, what trust is about. Like, you got a whole nother generation that now has to heal from this. And it's just irresponsible for the fact that you wanted attention. You couldn't forgive for real. You couldn't speak up for real. You kept guilt for real. It's just too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, it is.
So, I gotta go, but this has been amazing.
Same here.
We gotta wrap it up. So we
Okay.
went way longer than we wanted to, but
Yeah, same
But it
here.
was
I'm
great.
sitting
I
here. I
loved
was
it.
texting Luke. Look, I was just texting him like, Luke, we gotta wrap this up. Like,
I loved it. This was amazing.
yeah, we got to do another one, but
Yeah,
we're gonna try to get it formatted different. You know,
this was great. I loved
I
it.
was trying to let the video run in the beginning, and I was feed off to the commercial because I knew it was gonna be a bunch of them.
yeah. And also, what was her name? Blanca. What was her
Blanca.
name?
I'm sorry. I think I called her Bianca. Tell her I'm sorry, Blanca.
Yeah,
I
she
loved her
had great input.
Yeah.
Tell her thank you for coming on. I appreciated her input tonight too
Yeah.
as well.
We tried to get the Mexican people into the conversation.
That really didn't need to be said. Really, that sounded so bad.
That's my good friend. She is.
Obviously.
Okay, but I mean, I'm just saying for the viewers, just disregard Luke. He's a clown. So yeah, that was definitely a joke. Okay.
Blanca, no, that's my girl.
Yeah, I liked her comments.
Yeah, because me and her, we have some great conversations. Because I be giving her the business, but she always try to make the best of everything. That's what I like about her, though. She does. She's a really positive person. But yeah, this was a wonderful show. We liked it. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We like, subscribe, and share. And definitely comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Look forward to reading your comments. It got to be a lot in this one because it was a lot to digest in this video. So, but go ahead. Any y'all parting words? Anything you would like to say, Sharonda? And
just thank you for inviting me back. I love this platform, and so whenever y'all need a guest, just hit me up.
We're definitely gonna do that.
Appreciate that. Nice having you back.
Yeah.
And definitely appreciated everybody on the panel tonight. Thank you for joining us. Please do join us again because we have to get back to our Red Heart letter. And I just want to say your mental health is important. These two know that the most, but your mental health is important. Stay positive. Wear your smile. A positive mentality is a destined reality. Wear your smile. Stay blessed until next time. Thank you.
Have a blessed one. Be safe.
Bye.